on Discord. Otherwise, there's going to be probably, I don't know, 10, 15-second lag between what I'm saying and what's going on the screen.
Okay. Done.
Yeah. Okay, so let me change specs because I'm in LE spec at the moment. So, but yeah, I could almost pull 1 million on single target in LE spec, considering I haven't really spec'd into it and just I'm using all the gear from my enhancement and resto set. Oh, wrong
That's
one.
pretty good.
Yeah, so I'm alright with that. Pulling 1 million on the dummies and around the world is cool with me. Okay, I have.
Is that a special spec change add-on thing you just had up?
Oh yeah, it's Ask Mr. Robot. It's their little add-on. So let's say you use Ask Mr. Robot to tell you like what's the best things in your bag.
Yeah.
If you
Oh yeah.
use the in-game
I
thing, and
see that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So you do it on the website, and then you copy from the website, and you export, and then you click the little import button here, and you paste the string, and it'll
Okay.
copy all the specs. So when you actually change spec, it'll also switch all your gear for you.
Is there like a button, or do you have to go to this every time? Because I've set up the little macro thing that kind of does the same thing. So it'll change my spec and it'll change my gear all at the same time. But I
Um,
got a little button.
no, I mean, yeah, you can use the macro. I use this because it takes how like all the stat priorities from them, so it changes it every time. But I just use I've never set up the you know uh, a macro since I started using this. But it's
Yeah.
convenient when you have 3 specs and you have 3 sets of gear.
Yeah, I know it's annoying. My
And
macros work great, but they're
hmm
they're not 100%. So
yeah, and even this, I mean, if you look, I have all these different sets for various things. Uh, uh, Resto and Ellie are basically Resto and Ellie. I don't have variations on it, but I have 4 different variations on my enhancement spec depending on the situations. I'll use different
uh,
I'll use different legendaries. So I just use this to change the spec, and then depending on what we're doing, I'll switch these out to
got.
various things.
And you can use the whole. I mean, I see you have it actually named something because my little macro you have to use like number one, number two, number three, and
Oh
it
yeah,
gets a little crazy.
yes. I have to name them, otherwise I'll never know what the fuck they are. It's like this is
Okay.
like a defensive spec with the helm and the neck. You know, see how I mean, you can get the gist of my scheme here. It's like which 2 legendaries I'm using and whether it's more of a defensive or a pure DPS build.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And what happens here is when you import from the website, it's good for resto and it's good to give you a general idea. But I use sims and actual real world to decide what the final gearing will be. But it will. You see how this one says AMR, AMR, AMR.
Yeah. Uh
It
huh.
creates one here based on this. I think that's how it creates a set. I think that's how it works. It when you click the
Oh
button,
okay.
it's basically a macro that just changes spec and then it clicks, activates that equipment set.
Oh okay.
Uh,
So, Ask Mr. Robot created those AMR ones.
yes, and I created all
Oh
the other
okay.
ones.
And you created the. Oh sweet. Okay.
hmm
Makes sense. Cool.
So
I'll
like
try that.
Resto, I don't use this item. I actually use this one. So Ask Mr. Robot thinks that other one was better, but I prefer this one.
Gotcha.
So it's just you know, there. It's pretty good for the most part. It gives you a general. I mean, healing is healing. There's no,
Yeah.
you know, it's all. It's
Just
not. It's
go
not so.
straight ask Mr. Robot, and I mean, I do pretty darn well. So,
Yeah. It. It.
Sims are just too much effort for me.
And they don't really work well for healing anyway. And healing is really situation dependent. So you can have shit numbers, but if you're popping your cooldowns at the right time and keeping everyone alive at the right time, then it doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
a
Yeah.
well placed Spirit Link totem uh, beats meters every day. You know, if
Yeah,
you just
if you
stopped,
put a spirit link totem down and nobody's standing in it, who cares?
yeah,
Even if you put it down at the right time, you
yeah,
know.
well, exactly. That's why I'm always screaming, "Stand in the circle of save your fucking life."
Yeah,
I don't know. You know, I know
that
what
works
it.
so
I know
well.
what that graphic looks like. So when I see it pop down, I immediately run into it.
Yeah, I know.
Some people
Crazy.
don't, but that's one of the most powerful ones in the game. It effectively stops everyone from dying who's about to die.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Anyway, yeah, it's
All
quite
right.
useful. So I use this.
Okay, well I'll try that. That's cool. All
So
right. So bring your mm, talents up, I guess.
yep. Now I have a few choices. It's just kind of how my preference and play style. You can choose your however your preference is. I think Rand, for instance, probably uses Deluge and High Tide because they really buff healing stream or chain heal rather.
Oh,
And I think he really just likes to mash chain heal because if you look at his
yeah.
logs, it's like chain heal is 80% of all of his heals, and everything else is just non-existent.
Well, yeah.
But for me, I don't like to do that because chain heal just decimates your mana. So then you end up just halfway into a fight. So
Yeah.
I like a more balanced approach.
Me too.
So
It's crazy.
I use this. So I like torrent. So I use. If you look at my logs, you'll see Riptide is a huge uh, uh, amount of healing on my logs because that's like your. It's got an initial heal and a hot, so it'll tick and I have Echo of the Elements, so I get 2 charges of this. So I'm always, and it's the only instant heal you have that actually has anything. So if someone's about to die, it's the only way you can actually stop them, you know, from hitting 0 with an instant heal.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that it's not a lot, but it's enough usually to keep someone alive in like a bad situation. But unfortunately, I use it all the time, so it's always rolling on lots of people, and I don't always have one available for those times where someone's about to die.
So I like use rejuvenation, which that's kind of a hot. It does. It sounds like it does the same thing, where it's a ticking thing, and initially it gives a big burst of something, or with actually rejuvenation, it when it ends, it gives a big burst.
Ah, okay, okay. Yeah, this one doesn't have anything at the end, but it just gives you. It's a nice ability. It just kind of fills it in. So if you look at my healing logs, this is a huge amount. This is just your preference here. I use this one because Spirit Walker's Grace is your casting while moving, and I use that a lot because there's always, and inevitably in every fight, there's always a point where you have to move and cast at the same time. So
Yeah.
this thing is hugely powerful and very useful. So I use this one. That's why I use Graceful Spirit. Uh, this is just a stun. The only time I ever use either of my totems is when we're doing Norganon on Coven.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I never use them for anything else other
I,
than Coven Norganon, but it's beneficial for that.
even with the enhancement, I'll pull it out every one. I'll remember it's like, oh yeah, maybe I should slow these guys, And I was like, I have a totem for that.
Yep. So I have down here. I use Earthbind. So when we're doing that particular section of that fight, on one side I will put the Lightning Totem, and on the other side I'll put the Earth Totem. One slows, one stuns, and then I move my ass behind.
Cool. Okay.
Uh, yeah. So that's why I choose that one over these. These are just kind of utility level tier level here. Um, so this is kind of, I guess, one of those options that I like for my type of play style. So ancestral guidance is like a little mini cooldown, and it gives you extra healing. So it gives you 20% healing buff that distributes it to 3 people nearby. Or if you're damaging, if there's not much to do during a fight, or it's like a highly, there's something you need to burn, you can just go all out damaging. Put your healing rain down, your healing stream totem down. Your riptides are rolling, so all those heals are ticking, and you can do damage. And this will duplicate all that to people around you, like 40% of that, or 20% of that rather. So it's
Oh,
it's kind
okay.
of it's kind of useful. So it's like a little mini cooldown. It's just a healing increase on its own. It helps for medium difficulty healing situations.
Okay.
So it's got a lower cool. It's only got a 2-minute cooldown, so you can get this off a few times during a fight. If something's like, oh, people are starting to go down, you just pop this one. It's a little mini cooldown. It'll help you out a little bit. I effectively roll 3 healing cooldowns. So I have this one, Ascendance, and Healing Tide Totem. So those are the big 3.
Oh, okay.
And in
Gotcha.
in extreme emergency situations, I have a button that pops all 3. So
Oh shit! Everybody's dead.
yeah, that's like, oh shit, everyone's gonna die. Emergency button, and that's my little macro here, and that will summon Healing Tide Totem. It will pop Ascendance, and it'll pop Ancestral Guidance. So when you're doing that, your Healing Tide Totem is putting out massive amounts of healing. Then you have Ascendance, which is doubling the healing, and then you have Ancestral Guidance, which is giving you another 20% bonus on the doubled healing that's going out, and it's distributing it to everyone. And if it's really bad, you drop your Spirit Link Totem, so no one goes to overheals, and everyone just gets all topped off instantly in like 4 seconds. So it's
Oh,
it's
okay.
it's very powerful when you pop them all at
Right.
once. But I tend to just spread them out over a fight because it's rare where you need to pop them all at once. Uh, oh, this one's kind of cool. So as you're healing people, they gain a 10% health buff. So if I were to just continue healing the raid, everyone would have 110% health.
Oh, okay.
So it's just kind of nice. So it keeps you from doing a lot of overheals. It'll bring them up, and it just kind of helps a little bit for. I guess it helps for tank healing. It's just kind of the one I've always chosen. Um, so no, I've never used. I never really use these. Well, I've used this one occasionally if I know there's going to be some high damage. It's just like a damage cooldown. But
Okay.
I just go with Ancestral Vigor. I don't use the Earth and Shield totem. This one's one of my favorites. It gives 2 charges on your important things. So Riptide has 2 charges, and that's kind of important because, like I said, I use Riptide a ton. It's your only real instant heal, and it's a hot after the instant heal. So now you get 2 charges of it. So you can just keep, you could probably keep 4, maybe 4 of them up on people before they all start to tick out. Your healing stream totem, which is bread and butter. That's always down. So
Right.
healing stream totem is always on cooldown. I never don't have that activated unless it's a crazy healing intensive moment and I didn't get a chance to bring one down. Then we
And that's
have
like the druid's green effervescence kind of AoE heal thing.
that's healing rain.
Okay.
So healing rain's the big circle on the ground. I'll put one down so you can kind of see it. So healing rain. The healing stream totem is just the totem. It'll heal one person, but I think it heals the most. Yeah, it heals an injured party member within 40 yards, and you can put two of them down if you have the two charges because it allows you to put both totems. So it'll just start healing people, and I think it automatically detects the lowest guy and it'll start healing him. But if there's two of
Oh,
them,
so do you have to target somebody to do that one?
nope, it's all automatic. You basically just have to push that totem button every 30 seconds,
Oh, okay.
and
So
you
it'll
get two
place
of
it
them.
near you, and then it
Yep,
finds the lowest person.
yep, and it has an effective range of, let's see, 40 yards. So basically the whole screen.
Okay.
So you get two charges of that. So that's huge. And when you want to do damage, you get two charges of one of your highest damaging spells if you're trying to, buff up the damage. So it's just really one of my favorite talents to take. And Ascendance is the last one because I really like the extra healing that you get from this. And
Okay.
it's pretty major. I mean, you're doubling your healing, so this and Healing Tide Totem together it's pretty much unstoppable for the amount of healing that goes out.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
those are my kind of my favorites that I like to use for those.
All right. So say we're in the middle of a raid, and you're using your heal bot. So say you want to heal, the tank. What do you do? Do you click on? I mean, do you have? Where's your grid for Healbot?
Oh, Healbot's here. It only I'm the only one in the group at the moment, so it's only showing me. So I can pull this up so you can take a look if you wanna. Yeah, we don't need to look at me anymore. So let me pull my grid over here. I usually keep it on the right side over here, and I have it set so that the tanks are a separate box, and they're always above the rest of the group.
Okay.
And then so it'll have the two tanks in their own separate box, and the rest of the raid filtered with myself, then the healers, then the DPS. So it's always tanks, me,
Okay. Hold
healers,
on. I'm
DPS.
gonna invite you.
All right.
So I'm standing right beside you.
Oh, okay, I see ya. So now I have two. See, two boxes popped up.
Yeah.
Now I think have you used Healbot before? Or are you gonna use Healbot, or are you gonna use whatever you're using
I'm gonna
now?
use Voodoo.
Okay, okay. Yeah, so if I want to heal anyone in the raid, I don't have to do anything special. I just click their name, and whatever I've assigned to that click, it automatically casts that spell on the person that I'm clicking in the box. So I have
So it is a mouse over.
it it is a mouse over, but it's not yeah, I guess so. But I don't have any macros set up. Because a lot of times when I
Okay.
hear mouse
Well,
over, it's like you're mousing over a person and then clicking the button, right?
yeah, and then
Yeah.
you can use Shift or Control or
Yes.
Alt to
Yep.
change which spell. Okay, yeah, so it's essentially the same,
It's
except
exactly the
with
same.
Voodoo, it already gives you the box. I don't have to assign a box.
Okay. Well, yeah, the
You
box.
notice on your boxes they don't have names.
Well, I have names there. You just can't see them because we're at full health. When you're at full health, I
Oh,
have it fade out. So when you start to lose health, it gets bright green. So full health, it fades out a
uh,
little bit. Yeah.
and then you can see the person's name.
Yeah. The name it does have a name there. You can see my name's there. It says it's like light blue, but we're both shamans, so blue on green doesn't. There's not a lot of contrast.
Yeah. Okay, I kind of can see the little bit of change in color. But okay. Alright, so, well, that actually works, because then, so, with Voodoo, I can do, modify key. I can have none or Alt plus Control, or Control Shift, or whatever. So, why don't we go through what you've got? So, I see on, you have Healing Wave on
Yes.
just click.
Okay. So now there's
So,
a few things. So this is left click. So I have healing wave set to left click. I have chain heal set to shift left click, And then I have Purify Spirit, which is, cleanse.
Okay, don't slow down. So, okay, left click is healing wave, and then just
Shift,
shift left click is
chain
bolt.
heal. And then control left click is another spell that's
Okay,
attached to that.
what's up?
And Purify Spirit is this guy here. So it removes curses, so that's, a dispel.
Okay, dispel. Gotcha. Okay, all right. So right click. What do you have for that? For no modifier.
So right click, so then you come up here, and I actually have extra buttons because I have one of those Warcraft mice. Uh, so I have a few other extra ones that are here, but on right click, I have Healing Surge. I have Shift right click as the same thing because sometimes when I in desperate times when I'm spamming chain heal, because occasionally it happens where there's just so many people taking so much damage all at once, and you just got to get a bunch of heals out to a bunch of people, and then you're trying to weave in healing surges. If you're still holding shift, which I found I was doing, I needed that on both of them because
Oh, okay.
it wouldn't do healing surge. So that's why I have the same spell for that, and for that's the same reason why I have Purify Spirit as the control version of it, because just to make sure that I'm getting the buttons that I want.
Okay. So then I have middle button. Do you use that?
I use that a lot. For the middle button, let's go to middle. Is how I cast Riptide. So my middle button is clicked
Okay.
very often.
No modifiers, just middle button is Riptide. Okay.
Yep. Now, Unleash Life, I don't think exists anymore. This is held over from an old ability that I don't think exists anymore. So,
Okay.
or maybe it does. Oh no, it does. But now it's a talent that I didn't check. It's a talent I no longer use, so it's unnecessary to have. So it's still there in case I ever bring it back. Whatever, whatever. So basically, also, control click is uh, dispel.
The control middle button is also purified.
He's also purifying, and I just do that, just just to make sure that I get those dispels out. um, there's another thing to note that I like to do. So healing surge, I'll go back to right click. You see this column over here. It says auto trinket. Usually the reason I'm hitting healing surge is because, oh shit, someone needs a heal faster and they're about to die. So I have it auto select my trinkets, and one of my trinkets happens to be my legendary. So it'll also increase my healing. Yeah, it'll pop your. So you can set that for anything, any of your button pushes, so that it'll give you the auto trinket capabilities. And then I have some other ones. Where is it? Oh, that one. I wish it would let me change the names because it's just like these buttons are very ambiguous. Button 10. And then I was testing out what was what with chain heal to see which buttons were what. But one of them should be healing rain. Oh, I guess I never put it back. I did make one of them healing rain, but I must have taken it off. So it doesn't matter. So if you have extra buttons, you can do extra things. I have extra buttons, but
Yeah.
oftentimes they don't always work, and I find that I can't. I just kind of forget about them sometimes and don't end up using them as much. So, and that's it. Everything else. So,
You don't use your alt click or anything like that for
no,
any.
none of the ones down here. I just don't have that many spells. Everything else, I actually just push the buttons.
Okay.
So, for Healing Stream Totem, I just tap because I have it hotkeyed to 4. I just hit 4.
Oh, okay.
Um, Healing Tide Totem is R. I have a key bound to another key, and a lot of these keybinds are just things that I've done from Kata when I first set it up, and I've been doing them for so long. I just have to keep them that way because I just automatically know that's what it is, and I don't want to change it.
Well, what about like we have to heal an NPC or the tree or something or Argus? You just um click the tree and
Yep.
click 4 or whatever. So
Yep. Generally, yeah, on Argus, if we're healing the tree, I will click the tree, and then I start spamming chain heal because generally I want other things to be healed, not just the tree. Uh, I will also use. I keep on the screen my other spells, so I have healing wave over here. So if I want to just heal the tree, I can hit healing wave. But that's generally never the case. So I'm usually just spamming chain heal, and I do that with a shift click, or I do that with the number 1 because I have it. I have a keybound down here. So the same goes for Healing Rain. I have Healing Rain keybound to one of my other buttons on the mice, and it activates, but you have to click the ground where it goes.
right, yep,
So just like probably your Healing Circle Effervescence, whatever it's called,
yes,
you have to activate it and then click where it goes. So same thing. Same for Spirit Link Totem. I click it and decide where it goes. I don't have that key bound to the mouse. I just have a letter key for that one. So all of my basically cooldowns are kind of over here in this little box. So I have hero, hex, my artifact weapon power, which is again it's a click and activate and then tell you where to go. My ancestral guidance, all that fun stuff is just hiding over here. Healing Tide Totem.
okay,
So I have all those keybound to letters. So I'm generally using the WASD to move when I'm healing. That way I can activate things like my healing stream, healing rain, and then I have this usually sitting right here next to me. So I'm clicking heal on the box as I go
right,
with the appropriate spells.
yeah,
So you can see uh, it's 14 seconds on healing on Riptide. So then I get another Riptide. You can refresh it up to 20 seconds. Get another Riptide. So you can get Riptide on a lot of people, and it's pretty good. So it gives you a lot of healing ability. And tidal waves is just a thing that I never really pay attention to.
What's in your lower left-hand corner? The big kind of yellow thing, and what's above that? Because that looks like a
This
voodoo thing. Up, left, up,
uh,
up, up, up,
left
left,
hand corner.
up, left, left, down, left, left, left. Just about there. Yep. Right about. What's that?
Um,
Something that's not showing up properly.
Let me look at my stream because I don't know. I just right here.
Well, now I can't see your mouse, so it must be you must be there. So what's that? Yeah, right there.
Huh.
What is it
Uh,
below that? It's this big kind of orange, yellow something. Keeps flashing now.
oh, hold on. Let me look at what's on my stream. Oh, this is just the raid frames because I'm in a party. So these are just my party frames are over here.
Oh, okay.
So that they line up right here, and the big giant yellow thing you're looking at is just my webcam's covered up with a piece of paper.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. So normally we would see you, but
Yeah.
oh yeah. Oh wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not I was just going over, so I didn't feel the need to turn on have the webcam active.
Makes sense. All right. So okay, right above your frames per second. What is the first button you have there? I'm just trying to match kind of your buttons to mine.
Let me see. Right above FPS. So here is chain lightning, and then cloud burst, healing stream totem macro, which I don't use cloud burst right now, so that's not one of my chosen talents. So it's just a macro that's not used at the moment.
What's the first button?
This is this one here that says, oh, the first one, the yellow one.
Yeah.
Gift of the Naru. That's a Draenei ability. That's a racial. It's
Oh,
just
okay.
the Draenei healing racial that
Gotcha.
heals
Okay.
like yeah, just
Which I don't.
yeah.
Okay, so what's the next one?
Then I have Chain Lightning. That's a damaging spell. So my damaging spells are clustered in this area. So I have like a 2, a 3, and the delete key as my damaging spells. You only have 3. You have Lava Burst, Lightning Bolt, and Chain Lightning.
Okay, and then next.
Uh, this is a macro that I don't use. But
Oh,
in
okay.
case I want to bring back my Cloudburst Totem, that's the level 90 tier. That macro pulls Cloudburst and Healing Stream Totem together.
Gotcha. Okay. And the next one?
This one, oh sorry, that's also a damaging spell. That's your dot. I forgot about that one.
That's a flame shock.
Yeah, so I'll dot them, and then it allows this one to proc an instacast if you're attacking them while this dot is going.
Okay. What's next?
That's purge, so it purges the enemy. So it's like dispel on enemy target that I almost never, ever, 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 ever use. I don't think I can't, honestly, I can't remember the last time I pushed that button.
Okay, and then the next one's Riptide.
Yep, it's Riptide. Yep, that's there because, in case anything funky happens with my bound things, I always have, something available.
Okay, what you got next?
That's Unleash Life. That's the level 15 tier that I don't use.
Oh, okay. And then Ghost Wolf. And then the next one is Purify Spirit.
Indeed. And, Healthstone.
Okay, what you got next?
Healthstone after Purify Spirit. Lock Rocks.
Gotcha, okay. And then,
Then it's my legendary on use trinket.
oh, okay. And then what's the last one? I don't remember that one.
This is just a macro that I don't use anymore. And I don't remember what it is. Oh, yeah, it's an unused macro. Camera max range. Actually, that can just
Oh,
don't need it anymore. Doesn't exist. So that doesn't need to be there anymore. Now it's gone. I also use weak auras, so I get all this thing that pops up on screen right below my character that tells me all my cooldowns and everything. It's very useful.
Oh yeah,
But it only pops
I've
up in
seen that.
combat, so I have to stay in combat for you to see them. So I can't click them; they're not clickable, but at least they tell me what's available. So it's
Yeah, I
actually
have something similar to that. I think I've seen that one.
it's
Oh
actually.
yeah, I can see our names now on the on
Oh yeah,
Roblox.
yep, we're in combat. So in combat, it gets a little brighter, and it changes when you have less health. So then I can start popping my cooldown, so I can hit. You see, G popped all three of those at once.
Gotcha.
That's just it's put a G. Now I don't know why Ascendance is showing up as a bar here. I added a Elemental Shaman weak aura, and I think it added some things there that I like that. I don't like that. I'll have to fix that. I don't need a bar that says I'm in Ascendance. I can clearly see when I'm in Ascendance.
Yeah, exactly. That's very obvious unless you're in a huge group of people.
Mhm. Yeah, so it's nice to have this here, so I don't have to keep looking down to see my timers and whatnot. And it'll even show you your two charges on Riptide. So if I want to Riptide me and Riptide you, we've been Riptided, and then I can do this. Why didn't that work? You know that and you can see that cooldown, and my healing stream totem goes, and this is just defensive cooldown, and then that's my heal while I run cooldown. So oh, it tells me that my healing stream isn't down, so healing rate isn't down. It's very nice. Okay,
Cool. Okay. Making progress.
indeed. Oh, well that's handy. I should put that there. That's the res all button.
Yeah, since you don't use your other thing anymore.
Mm-hmm. And everything else on my bars is just generic shit. There's nothing special. I mean, I like I said, I
Yeah, I'm
keep all.
looking at the guild bank thing and
Yeah,
your
I keep all.
garrison.
Yeah, all my major cooldowns are kind of over here, like I said, but I don't follow them there because I have weak auras. Once I found out, like, I don't know how I lived without weak auras, to be honest. I just
Yeah.
discovered this like 5 months ago.
Wow.
I mean,
It took
I've
me a
known it
long time.
existed this whole time. The issue was I installed it on 2 or 3 occasions in the past and trying to get it set up to show everything that I wanted to show. I'm like, oh, this takes too fucking long. I don't have the patience to figure out all the things that I want to do. Then I found a website that people can just upload all their weak auras, and I just look for some ones that make sense for me, and I download them, and I import them, and everything's there.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah,
I've been doing that a lot. Most of the stuff has got way too much stuff that I don't really care about, but I've learned to use it enough to I can edit and not display stuff that I don't need.
yeah. I've gotten to that, and like I said, like that when I hit Ascendance, this stupid Ascendance bar was never there before, and the only thing I've done today was I downloaded or I copied and installed Elemental Shaman Weak Aura, and I think it's coming from that. So I have another thing down here that I use. It's actually called Rogue Power Bars. It's very useful. So if I'm tracking things, I'll use this thing down here called Rogue Power Bars.
Uh huh.
Even though it's for a rogue, it's actually really good for just tracking buffs and debuffs. and you can tell it whatever buffs you want it to track. So
Oh, really?
so oftentimes you'll see, let's say you get one of those like Concordance of the Legion, that thing where you get a bunch of intellect for like 20 seconds. You can
Yeah.
track that
Yeah.
shit. You can track your legendary procs and basically any buff and debuff in the game that shows up here. This thing can track it if you just type in the name, and you can tell it the color you want it, and if you want it to count down, and it just shows them all down here. Let's see, do I have any that'll show up? No, I don't have any that'll show up really. Oh, Healing Rain should show up. Yeah, you see, Healing Rain now shows up down here with how long it's available for. And then I have
Oh, yeah.
it's better for damage. It's not really, it doesn't do much for healing. There's just a few things that show up there that I would track, like
Well, like I
buffs.
noticed, one thing I do on the enhancement is the lashing flames on the target. Does it do target, um, debuffs, or only on yourself?
Only on yourself. So, well, no, that's not true. Because when I'm on my rogue and I garrote someone, that is a debuff on the target. But I can't remember if it also gives me a buff. No, I can't remember.
Okay.
You know what? I'm not 100% sure on that. Now I can't recall. It might also do things, but what buff in enhance?
Lashing flames. Yeah, it's Oh, I don't have it on me. Let me switch.
Yeah, lashing. Lava lash?
Flame tongue gives it.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Watch. Flame tongue, and it shows
Yeah,
up
so
here.
the
So it does. But flame tongue shows up here too. You see, it's actually a buff.
oh yeah.
So, for
And
instance,
so
flame tongue.
if it goes away, see now your target doesn't have it, but your thing's going.
Right. So my flame tongue weapon is still affected, and you just need to be concerned with it always being on your end, rather than the debuff that's on the target for flame tongue weapon. So you just want to make sure that this doesn't run out, that this is always active. But there's flame tongue,
Yeah,
and then
on the target. So like if I switch targets, I want to know, you know, do I need to hit the button again, or once the target is hit by something else, it's gonna proc to that target.
oh, I see what you're saying. So if I come over here and then hit this guy, yeah, it moves over. So every time you attack, it refreshes on the target as long as it's active on you. But you should also be, I use landslide for enhance, so I'm tracking landslide. What else do I track? Oh, I track my Fury of Air, landslide, crash lightning, gathering storms. There was something else I added. What the hell did I change? Because I changed something to my spec. Forgot what it was.
Um, put up your talents for your enhancement. Click on the talent tab.
Oh, right, hailstorm. What the hell did I... There it is. I knew I had something that I was missing. So, based on a legendary, I actually I have to monitor four. I need four buffs up at all times.
Oh, okay. And what's the name of that? Rogue power bars?
Rogue power bars. Yep. I've been using this thing forever. It's one of my favorites. While I have the weak aura in the middle that kind of has all the stuff going on, right? The rogue power bars just gives me a quick, I can kind of see that without looking at it. I kind of have to look at the weak aura to really get a good idea of what's going on. Oh, I didn't put my. Huh, that's why I'm not doing any damage. I didn't put my right gear on. Huh. Like, why am my damage so low?
I'm gonna log out and log in again and install that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's very useful. I like that one a lot. It's not only good for rogues. It's really just a buff and debuff tracking system that is quite handy, and it's very compact. So it just
Yeah, that's what I like about it.
there is one little caveat with it. There's like another bar. There's a debuff bar that comes with it as well, and you can't get rid of it altogether. So you just have to shrink it and put it over here. So I actually have there's a tiny little itty bitty bar that you can see me moving around that I just kind of keep off into the corner.
Gotcha.
And I basically just call everything a buff, so it all shows up on the same bar. All right, so why isn't it letting me switch gear? Ah, there we go. I just got a new legendary today, so now I have to sim everything out and see what I'm doing.
You're so anal.
Yeah, my sim is so close to 2 million right now.
Dang.
I keep just ticking it up a tiny bit. So now I'm gonna make a new set. I'm gonna call
Alright. It
this.
said it loaded it, but I don't see anything different on my screen, so.
Yeah, you type a backslash RPB, and it'll give you the. So RPB, and you'll get the little screen, and you have to.
Okay, apparently that didn't work. Something's wrong.
Oh, it didn't install.
It says it's there. Where's reload? Nope, didn't like that.
Oh, that's weird. I've never had an issue with it. It just works. Do you have the bars enabled? Or it just doesn't show up even in your add-ons menu at all?
It doesn't even show up my add-ons menu. It shows up on my little add-on list. Oh, here we go. I got a Lua error. That would be why.
Ah.
Yeah, it doesn't like that. Like it's interfering with Ask Mr. Robot?
Really? Hmm. That's weird. I never have any. I don't have any issues. I have them both installed. That's odd.
Hmm. Bizarre. Yeah.
Yeah, that's strange.
Well, let's see what happens when I disable Ask Mr. Robot. See if it works. Nope, didn't like that.
Huh.
Alright, well, I'm gonna play around with this and probably go do some questing and world quests. Thank you for your help.
Okay. Anything else? Any other
Sure,
questions?
let a bunch of people die and before I figured it out.
It's not that hard as long as keep your healing rain down, keep your healing stream totem down, and then it's just healing people.
Yep.
It just healing wave, chain heal, and popping your cooldowns when you know there's going to be large chunks of damage coming in. Just probably exactly what you're already doing. So it's just the different names of different spells.
Yeah, it seems like it. I mean, all the same kind of, you know, rapid heal,
Yep.
channel heal, that kind of thing.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Alright, cool. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Anytime. If you have any questions, let me know.
Sounds good. I'm gonna log out of Discord.
All right. And if